Chapter 7. The Sword of Luminaris. The glow of the sacred flame, held safely in Christina's hands, seemed to ward off the creeping shadows as Vegan and Christina made their way out of the crystal caverns. Though victorious in their quest for the flame, the weight of the next challenge pressed heavily on them. The Sword of Luminaris, the final piece of the puzzle to reforge the seal, was a mystery wrapped in centuries of myth. Back at the sanctuary of the Order of the Radiant Flame, Grandmaster Theron examined the sacred flame orb with reverence. "You've achieved what many thought impossible," he said. "But the greatest challenge remains. Without the Sword of Luminaris, the seal cannot be reforged." Vegan crossed his arms, frustration evident in his posture. "No one knows where the sword is, not even you. How are we supposed to find it?" Theron placed the orb into a crystalline holder on the altar, where it pulsed with light. The sword was lost during the final battle with the Shadow King. The last wielder, Sir Aldrich of the Radiant Flame, was said to have hidden it where only those truly worthy could retrieve it. "And where is that?" Vegan asked sharply. Theron hesitated, then gestured to a faded map on the wall. "Legends point to the Valley of Whispers, deep in the Greywood Forest. It is said to be a place where the veil between worlds is thin. Many who venture there never return." Vegan exchanged a glance with Christina, who stood beside him. Her expression was resolute. "If that's where the sword is, that's where we'll go," she said. The journey to the Greywood Forest took several days, each step bringing them closer to the Valley of Whispers. The forest was unlike any Vegan had seen before, its trees twisted and towering, their blackened branches reaching toward the sky like skeletal hands. The air was thick with fog, and an eerie silence pervaded the area, broken only by the occasional rustle of unseen creatures. As they delved deeper, whispers began to fill the air, soft, unintelligible voices that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. At first, Vegan dismissed them as tricks of the wind, but the whispers grew louder, more insistent, as if they were speaking directly into his mind. "Do you hear that?" Christina asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Vegan nodded, his hand tightening on the hilt of his sword. "Stay close to me." The path wound deeper into the forest, the whispers growing more distinct. They spoke in a language neither Vegan nor Christina could understand, yet the tone was unmistakable, seductive, pleading, and, at times, menacing. Suddenly, the path opened into a wide clearing. At its center stood a massive stone archway, covered in vines and glowing faintly with an otherworldly light. Beyond the archway lay a swirling mist, shimmering with colors that seemed to shift and change with every glance. "This must be it," Vegan said, his voice low. "The entrance to the Valley of Whispers." Stepping through the archway felt like walking into another world. The mist engulfed them, and the whispers grew louder, now forming coherent words. "Turn back," one voice said, cold and ominous. "Prove your worth," another intoned, stern and commanding. "Seek and you shall find," a third whispered, almost tenderly. The mist cleared, revealing a surreal landscape. The valley was filled with floating islands of stone and crystal, connected by narrow bridges of light. A massive, glowing sword hovered in the distance, embedded in a pedestal atop the largest island. Its blade shimmered with a radiant light, and its hilt was encrusted with jewels that glowed like miniature stars. "The Sword of Luminaris," Christina breathed. Before Vegan could reply, a deep rumble echoed through the valley. Shadows coalesced on the nearest island, forming into monstrous creatures, hulking beasts with glowing red eyes and claws like daggers. Vegan drew his sword, stepping protectively in front of Christina. "This won't be easy," he said grimly. The Legend of Vegan Odun.